Your light illuminates their imperfections, hence their attempts to dull your shine. Light 'em up.
My name and flowers grew right out the brown soil. My vision's clear as glass, the robe is purple satin plus the crown's royal. Allow me to give you a demonstration. Holding your breath, waiting for me to fail only brings hyperventilation. See, I'm a soldier that's ready for any situation. So me and life double dated my trials and tribulations. Won't be remembered for not speaking out. I Google map my whole approach, so I chose not to take the peaceful route. I promise I can't make this shit up. I shed a tear, then use the mic stand to hold my chin up. They plot and strategize on different ways to make me give up. That's easier said than done, like a woman that's 9 months pregnant doing sit-ups. Yeah, I read the book of life, defeat was never in my story. Just brutal fights on the battlefield is bloody and gory. Showing off is a fool's idea of glory. Call me foolish, stand in the clutch, I make them drop like I was Robert Ory. See, in this world you gotta sink or swim. Boy, I'm a legend, when I die my presence never will be felt again. This greatness rare, but see, I kept it in. Isolation in the demons, guardian angels been my only friend. I've been at war with myself in silence. Had a mental malfunction, forced to go into hiding.
I hope you're watching right now, because then you're going to understand, whoever get in my way, I'm a dog walk their ass.
Yes, sir. What's going on, y'all? Happy Saturday morning special right here. It's your boy, Big Mike Raider. Hey, thanks for popping in on this Saturday morning. We got some things to talk about. It is Fernando Mania 2.0. Man, I know you guys saw it. If you guys didn't see it, where have you been? You've been under a rock. Fernando Mendoza went off against the Oregon Ducks in the CFP Semi-finals. Our future #1 pick for the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't care what anybody says. It is a wrap at this point. Fernando Mania. We're going to talk about it. We're going to go deep dive style on Fernando Mendoza, what he brings to the table. We're going to look at what people are saying all over X. Man, it was on fire about Fernando Mendoza last night. Everybody is kind of backtracking what they were talking about. People are giving him his flowers. This guy might be something special for the Las Vegas Raiders. We're going to talk about it, but we're also going to talk about some naysayers, some NFL experts who don't really think Fernando Mendoza is that guy. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to get into some other things, man, maybe a mock draft at the end of the show. But before we get into anything, you guys already know the deal. Like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. Man, thanks for popping in. We got 32 in the building, and we start this thing off right with CGR gifting 5 Big Mike Raider memberships. Guys, if you want to be a member of the Big Mike Raider fleet, you guys already know what to do. Hit that link up at the top. It's the best way to support what we got going on over here at Big Mike Raider. Man, CGR, I appreciate you, man. Much love to you. Always supporting the channel. Much love, man. Who else we got in the building today? Man, on this beautiful Saturday, let's see. We got AZ Raider 520, AO Anthony in the building. My guy Ant's in the building. Of course, you already know CGR. Kenny Mack in the building. Let me see who else. We got Raider Dangerfield in the building. Let me see. One of the first people to comment. Let's see who else we got in the building, man. Let me see. I'm scrolling. Let me see. We got Raider Bubba in the building. You already know, man. Shout out to Raider Bubba. Let me see. We got Demokes in the building. We got Mark Salter in the building. Let me see. Sal 951, Certified Junkie. Let me see. Raiders Primos in the building. Let me see. Fitzmatic Y9C. Salute to you, man. Let me see who else we got in here, man. We got, man, Mad Mike in the building. Let me see, man. Much love to you guys. Raider Dolph in the building. Sean's thoughts. Let me see. Dominique 5 in the building. Man, we got my usuals in here. We got 44 watching in the clouds as well, man. Much love to you guys. If you're over at YouTube, coming over here, hit that thumbs up. If you're on X, hey, think about coming over to YouTube and hitting that thumbs up and sharing with your folks as well, man. Sal 951 in the building too. Bob Stannard in the building. and the legendary Sean Johnson in the building. Guys, let's jump into this thing. He says, salute Big Mike. Fernando Mendoza, easiest decision. All right. Not gonna hold you guys, man. We got 48 in the building. Let's get this thing started. Fernando Mendoza, man, you guys saw it last night. Wowed everybody. We're gonna scroll through X before we get this thing started. And hey, I want to read some of the comments people are saying. You already see it right here. Fernando Mendoza throwing dimes all first half. He finished the game with 177 yards, 17 of 20, 5 touchdowns, and a 56-22 blowout in the CFP Semi-finals. 15-0 Indiana is going to be facing Miami in the national championship. So we'll get a chance to see Fernando Mendoza one more time before he puts on that silver and black, man. I love it, man. Let's see. So you saw that, right? A lot of people are really big on Fernando Mendoza. Shout out to Ryan McFadden. He says, I hope Fernando Mendoza likes silver and black. Let's see what else. I'm scrolling. Hey, I got the Grinch face right there. I was happy, you know, throwing absolute dime right there. Let me see. Not going, shout out to Mo Moten. He says not going to feed Rage Bait directly. Him and he was going back and forth with some Jets fans because Jets fans were kind of salty. Dante Moore didn't look so great. Pat McAfee, Fernando Mendoza is more athletic than you think. And that was another thing that we did see from Fernando Mendoza. Kind of showed us an extra trick in his bag, right? A lot of people said he's kind of mechanical. He sits in the pocket. But when the opportunity presents itself, my man took off a couple of good times, right? So he looked good scrambling and manipulating that pocket. There you go. You see Fernando Mendoza taking off right there. Shout out to Murph. He said, okay, seen enough. When we draft this kid number one overall, forget buying his jersey. I'm going to see if Mrs. Murphy wants to come out of baby retirement. Shout out to Murph. If you haven't checked out Raiders Fan Radio, man, where have you been, man? One of the greatest shows on YouTube for Raiders coverage as well. Man, people are saying, you know, hey, I thought he couldn't go out of the pocket. He was moving around, right? We saw a lot of stuff. Albert Breer, I imagine this is getting pretty exciting for the Raiders. You're absolutely right. Albert Breer, Ryan McFadden, like there's no need to overthink this. Everybody is going crazy over Fernando Mendoza. It was Fernando Mania. Skip Bayless even jumped in on it. He said, is Fernando Mendoza for real or is he AI? He makes unstoppably perfect throws to barely open receivers who catch everything. He was automatic. He was throwing into contested coverage, throwing it to where only the receiver can catch it. It was exciting to watch. And there you go right there. All in Autumn Win. Shout out to you on X right there. Fernando Mania 2.0 right there. So, hey, if you guys are Dodgers fans, you guys already know how big that was back in the day. Fernando Mendoza. And man, it was all over the place, man. But that was some of the good stuff that people were talking about all over X. I just wanted to show you because it was Fernando Mania all day yesterday, man. Let me see before we get into the next section. Some of the people who are a little bit of naysayers, I don't want to say haters, but just have a specific way of looking at the game, right? Experts who have seen the past, who have been around for a while, they look at Fernando Mendoza and are not impressed. And we're going to get into some of those things. This is going to be a heavy Fernando Mendoza show. We got 73 in the building. If you guys haven't, make sure you guys like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. Let's see. We got Demokes. He says Fernando playing out of his mind. Someone asked me if AOC MVP incoming. I asked, who's AOC? Demokes, man. He said Mendoza MVP incoming, baby. I love it. Demokes with the haymaker, man. I love it. I love it. Raider Dangerfield, he says, that's something we haven't had in ages. Red zone threat. Yeah, this dude. I'm glad that you mentioned that, right? Shout out to Jordan Reed. He says Fernando Mendoza in the red zone this year after that touchdown pass to Surratt through a couple to Surratt, right? 31 touchdowns, 25 passing, 6 rushing, and no interceptions. He's automatic when he gets in that area, right? Pat 40, he says Mendoza's 252 pass efficiency rating against Alabama was outrageous. Tonight, 277.7. This dude had a very efficient game, getting the job done quickly, right? And, you know, I'm going to pull the screen back up one more time. Let's hear our So I was muted the whole time, no audio. It's all good. Yo, this just goes to show you some of he's very articulate, leader and everything, right? This dude, every time he's in front of a camera, he says all the right things. He's always praising his coaches, his players, the program, and things like that. And always putting God first, right? You don't really see too much of that in this day and age. Just outwardly showing his faith, and whether or not you are a believer in whatever he believes in, just the fact that he believes in a higher being that is fueling him in his mentality and his motivation. That says a lot to me, right? What did you guys think about the game? Let me know what you think about what Fernando Mendoza did on Friday night. This dude wowed everybody. There you go. I'm sorry about the mute right there. I thought it would be showing. I thought it would be you'd be able to hear that one, but it's all good, man. Shout out to CGR, says he's humble. Yeah, absolutely, man. Raider Dangerfield said trade back. No, we actually have the opportunity to get a stud quarterback, someone to be here for years. Yeah, absolutely. No more. I think we can really settle the trade back for this and that. And I get that idea, right? Some people like to think that the Raiders they have so many holes to fill, and the Raiders are a complete mess. I beg to differ on that one, right? I think that we do need some pieces, but we're not in a hole so big to where we need to trade the number one pick and get a bunch of youngsters to come in. I think we can, with the cap space we do have, we can fill those gaps and really protect Fernando Mendoza when it's time, man. Let me see. Shout out to LV Maximus with the $5 haymaker. He says, Big Mike Raider, my dog, with thick frames in free agency. What thick frames you like to protect Fernando Mendoza? So one of the first guys I think of is Tyler Linderbaum, right? I think that he's a pretty good selection at center. I know that I got to really look in. You know what? Let's look at the 2026 free agents. Now that we're here, I wasn't planning on doing it, but LV says so. I'm a man of the people. Let's look at some of the 2026 free agents before we jump back into some Fernando Mania. Let me see. 2026 free agents, NFL, right? Let's see. Let's go to Spo Track. You guys already know. Let me see. All right, 1 second. Let me see what we got here. A little laggy for whatever reason. There we go. Let's position. Let's go O-lineman, right? O-line. Stand by, y'all. Being a little laggy over here on Spot Track or Spo Track or whatever you want to call it. So I'm looking at some right tackles, some guards. We got a pretty loaded class of free agents coming out this coming off season. Braden Smith is at the top of that list from the Indianapolis Colts. Jonah Williams, another right tackle. I really like Jonah Williams, 28 years old, still really young. Joel Bitonio, that's another one. I like that one. Cam Robinson. Let's look at some of the guards. Kevin Zeitler, 35 years old, a little bit old, a little long in the tooth for me. Isaac Sumalo, 32. I'd do a 2-year deal with that one. John Simpson, another familiar name that we've seen come through here before. You guys don't remember John Simpson? I like John Simpson. I've always liked John Simpson. And then Evan Neal, 25 years old. He's still trying to develop and become that, that guy that everybody thought he was going to be getting drafted in the first round. Those are some of the guys that I'm looking at. I would like to go young and go for the best of this list, right? Joe Bitonio's 34. That's pretty good. I give him a 2-year deal. Jonah Williams, that's one I'm looking at. And then even Evan Neal at 25 years old. That'll be somebody that I'd be considering as well. So those are some of the names right there. Now, back to the regularly scheduled program. Shout out to LV Maximus with the $5 haymaker. Speaking of haymaker, we got DeWantony Wilder, 6889 with the $5 Haymaker. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but forgive me if I butchered your name, man. Brady and Spytek should have been in the locker room ready to sign Mendoza after the game. Yeah, Mendoza looked absolutely phenomenal, man. He looked phenomenal. Efficient. Efficiency is the name of the game, right? We don't need to see you throw it all over the park. We've had quarterbacks throw for 300 plus and not get in the end zone at all, right? This dude, 177 yards and 5 touchdowns, right? He did it when it counted, and he was throwing absolute darts. He was throwing it, dimes to where only the receiver can get it. I was holding my breath every time he was in the he stepped back to pass. I was hoping, I was praying for his success, and every time he threw the ball, he was gunning it, man. He was doing his thing, man. Shout out to Mr. Wilder, man, with the $5 haymaker. Let's see. We got my guy Wasted Talent in the building. Big Mike for offensive line coach. Hey, where do I sign, man? You already know the deal. Man, I get those guys right. I mean, I do better than our guy Brendan Carroll. I'll tell you that. Let me see. Shout out to Wasted in the building, man. Let me see. He says Alpacalypse 4234. He says Mendoza is him. So is his center and Surratt. Pat Coogan. If you guys haven't checked out the center for Indiana, give him a look, man. This guy, one particular play, I think when the running back ended up scoring, he pulled and absolutely blew up a defender going downhill. And it's already a big feat to ask for a center to pull out in the open like that and really lock in on a second level defender. And he showed that. Pat Coogan is special, and I can imagine his stock rising as well. I would love to see Pat Coogan in the silver and black as well. That would be excellent. Let me see. Demoke said block Wasted. Well, nah, I think he might block you, though. Hey, he's on that list of never block, man. He's the never block list, man. Let me see. I don't block anybody anyway, though. Shout out to Fitz Magic. He says, I believe we already have our own line. Miller, Rogers, JPJ, Glaze, Grant. Hey, you might be right, man. And it's just maybe it's a matter of getting some depth in the building, and maybe it's a matter of getting the right coach to get them, organized, right? We didn't see any of that last year. All the rumors that were said about Brendan Carroll. And if that's the case, I mean, I would say that, next year is going to be almost like a rookie year for some of our youngsters because they weren't given a fair shot to succeed at all. So, hey, maybe you're right. And I'd be all right with it as long as we develop them properly. I'm all right. Bullshittrack.com. I have no idea what you're talking about, bro. Let me see. Shout out to Martin in the building. He says, salute to you, man. Let me see. And we got, let me see who else we got, man. Who else we got in here? Demokes, he says, watch out, everyone. Waste is going to do another mock draft. I don't know. Why you guys be hating on Waste's mock drafts, man? I think they're decent. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Our O-line has played atrociously for a few years, man. We got some players, but zero depth kills us. Yeah, absolutely. Sean Starr, shout out to you, man. Let me see. Let's read some more comments before we get into the next segment of the show. Let me see. Fitzmatic, he says, JPJ going back to center. We don't need Linderbaum. Okay. I like Linderbaum, though, man. I've always liked him. He was one of my favorite guys coming out of that draft, I think, in 22. But I hear you on that one. Let me see. Wasted says Demoke's #1 pick for the Gulags. Hey, he might get there, man. Hey, Demoke's, he's after you, bro. What's up, Big Mike? You know it's not going to be hard to fix it. Our Raiders get our coach, then fix the O-line, then draft Mendoza. Yeah, money to spend and then draft picks. Absolutely. I mean, I think with the money you do have, you can really fill that offensive line room with some quality depth and develop the youngsters that we do have. Now, if you want to bring in a top-of-the-line guard, I think that would be a good idea. If you bring in like Bitonio for maybe a 1-year kind of deal or 2-year kind of deal, Wyatt Teller is another good one. I like Wyatt Teller. we could do that too. You know what I mean? And then part of the whole like development project, if you want to bring in Evan Neal, kind of give him a second chance at success at only 25 years old, I think that would be a good one too. So yeah. I mean, the money matters in this situation. We have, I think, it's probably going to be the second highest available cap space in the league. So we can definitely do some damage and turn this thing around pretty quickly. Let me see. We got Marty says Mendoza was as great as Moore was poor. I thought that Moore had, is now we're talking about Dante Moore. I know that was like, hey, that was the debate for a minute, right? Dante Moore, I thought that he was okay, but okay is not good enough, right? I think that he should stay another year in college. I know that he was gunning for extra year eligibility, but his stock is never going to be higher. Now, we saw this with Nussmeier from LSU, where he had a chance to really go where his stock was hot, and then he stayed another year, and now we're talking about Nussmeier being around the 5th round this year. So be careful what you wish for when we're talking about Dante Moore staying an extra year. Stock might be at the highest as it is right now, but if you had to ask me, I think that Dante Moore was he had a lackluster performance. I know he started throwing some bombs towards the end in a situation where he kind of had to, and it looked good. But I think that there's a lot of work still to be done with Dante Moore, right? But a lot of these quarterbacks in this class, they still got a lot of things to work on as well. So I hear you with that one, man. But the winner of this one is Raider Nation, because our guy Fernando Mendoza looked absolutely phenomenal. He looked phenomenal, man. Let me see who else we got here, man. Mendoza obviously has great receivers there, though. I mean, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that they have like, I don't know, Jamar Chase and kind of those guys that Burrow had, in their run. But, Surratt is really good. Cooper, solid receivers. He does have some solid receivers. He has a solid tight end that he was thrown to, number 37. Seems to be all reliable, and he's willing to really knock people on their back in running situations. So he does have some pretty serious weapons over there in Indiana, which does help his case. Let me see. I like Vera Tucker at tackle. 26 injuries are a concern. Yeah. When we're talking about injuries, that is a concern, but that's a concern for everybody, right? What's important is that you bring them in and kind of evaluate and just hope for the best. I mean, you can get somebody who's never had injuries, and maybe that injury, he runs into that injury wall as soon as he get him. That's just the unfortunate matter of the NFL and in sports in general, right? A guy who's really never injured all of a sudden might become injury prone. You just never know. So, but that is a concern, just because, it is currently on his resume as far as, injuries go. So you're absolutely right, man. But it would be nice to see, kind of see where he's, kind of where he's at and things like that. He's young, 26 years old, so he does recover quickly. So now if he was like 32 with the injury bug, then you might want to pass up on that. But shout out to LV, man. Let me see. Wasted says Notre Dame guy. Yeah, Pat Coogan. Yeah, so transfer from Notre Dame. He was the MVP at the Rose Bowl. So that just goes to show you how excellent that he's been playing. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Coogan, man. If we could pick him up, that would be excellent. Let me see. Let me keep scrolling down. Can Progon make it to the second round? Are you talking about Pregnon, the guard from Oregon? I watched some film on him. If you're talking about Pregnon from Oregon, the guard, the right guard from Oregon, he is a early second round projection, late first. From what I saw from him against Indiana, we really can't really tell too much because, well, they were playing from behind most of the game. I like what I saw, but I think he's still going to be there in that early second round. Might be somebody that we can consider to draft in that second round. One of the mock drafts that I did recently, I did have him picked in the second round. So that is somebody to consider for sure, man. Big Mike blocks like Alex Kappa. Yeah, if I had to block somebody now, you're absolutely right. Man, yeah, my stats would be looking like Stone Forsythe's, like 12 sacks in 12 games and something crazy like that. Probably more than that. Yeah, you don't want me blocking nobody now, man, with my knees at almost 39 years old. So yeah, you don't want that problem. Shout out to Martin, man. Let me see. Let me see who else we got here, man. In my opinion, we never know what these guys' talent translates to the NFL. True. Skills is one thing, but give me the between the ears skills too. Mendoza seems like that guy. And that's what I tell people, right? About Mendoza. It's not necessarily what he brings to the table skills wise. Now he brings adequate amount of skill to the table, right? He can scramble out of the pocket. You've seen him throw downfield. He's very accurate, right? He's prototypical quarterback size. You want to get him a little bit bigger, a little more muscle, but not too much to where it's messing up his throwing mechanics. But as far as leadership qualities, the tangibles, the intangibles, the things that you can't measure on paper, the things that really don't show on film, the stuff that you see in press conferences, the stuff that you see at post-game interviews and things like that. I watched the post-game thing. He was sitting with Scott Van Pelt and the other guy. I can't think of his name right now, but he was sitting with them after the game and just talking with and chatting with them. He's a very personable guy, a guy that people love to talk to. His presence, he has a command presence that you expect from a quarterback, right? He has that special presence, and it's those kind of measurables that are not necessarily shown on film that I'm excited the most for, right? And you pair him up with a guy like Tom Brady, who I feel like has similar traits, because we talked about Tom Brady throughout his career at the beginning. Not a guy that will wow you with his arm, not a guy who will wow you with athleticism, but his work ethic, and just the intangibles and the command presence. Those were some of the things that really set him over the top. And I think that Fernando Mendoza has those things, and that's what I'm mostly excited about, because one thing I can count on is that Fernando Mendoza is going to improve on his game year after year. He's going to continue working on his craft, right? He's not going to be out, being complacent after one good season. He's going to continue to build and build and build. And for that, I think that's the reason why we would pick up somebody like Fernando Mendoza in the first round. I'm excited for him, man. Let me see. With the 9 to 10 picks, can we just draft the entire Indy O-line? Man, I don't know if that would equate in the pro game, but that offensive line looks really good, man. I'll give you that. Shout out to Just Mendoza, man. Let me see. Shout out to Mike Rain. He says Mendoza will beat you with his brain. Yeah, very smart. I mean, a little bit of his background, man. I've been reading up on Fernando Mendoza. Like, yeah, I'm really getting to like a deep dive. And what I want to do throughout this process from now on all the way to the draft, kind of give you guys a little bit of like tidbits about Fernando Mendoza so you can know him, kind of what he's about on and off the field, right? Fernando Mendoza was a guy who was the only D1 offer he got was to Cal originally, right? And he redshirted as a freshman, so he didn't really get much time early on, but over the years, you could see that improvement with Cal, right? He was one of the most sacked quarterbacks at Berkeley before he transferred over to Indiana, but still threw over 3,000 yards over there, and one of 9 quarterbacks for the University of Cal history to throw for that many yards, right? And we're talking about Jared Goff. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers amongst that kind of company, right? And before Cal came and gave him the offer, he was a guy that was going to the Ivy League. He was a guy that was looking at Yale, right? So this is the type of brain power this guy kind of brings to the table. A very smart, cerebral quarterback that I think he's special when it comes to that. But we'll talk about some more tidbits. I got plenty of little special nuggets. If you haven't checked his LinkedIn account, go check it out. I read an excellent article on in the Wall Street Journal about him and kind of what he believes. He did like a whole outline of like AI and the future of AI and social media and football and things like that. This dude's special. The dude's special, man. This guy does more than what you think. just a football player. This dude is a special human being, man. But we'll talk about it more as this whole process progresses down the line, man. Let me see. We got Martin. He says, by the way, is it Dr. Big Mike now? No, I'm not doctor, man. I'm still working on my master's, man. But I don't think I'll be going to doctor at the doctorate level after that. I think I'll call it wraps after getting my master's, man. And it'll be in sports management. Keep the fingers crossed, man. I'm trying to get in the building at some point. But in an NFL building or college building, to be more specific, man, I'll put it out there in the universe. Usually keep that kind of stuff to myself, but that's the plan. That's what I would love to do. And you never know. It might be doctor at some point. I might change my mind, but you never know. You never know. Let me see. Shout out to John Hayes. He says, loving this praying always. Go Raiders, and thank you, I believe. Raider Nation, man. Hey, appreciate you, man. Let me see it. We got 190 in the building. If you guys are just popping in, you guys know the deal. Hey, like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. If you're over at X watching this, come on over to YouTube and hit that thumbs up, man. Let me see, and share it with your folks, man, and hit that subscribe as well. Let me see. Shout out to Alpocalypse. He says, Miami wouldn't let Fernando be a walk-on. Does he need any more fuel? Yeah, this dude is on a tear, right? And he quietly does it. He's not out there like saying, after games, like kind of being boisterous and I got a chip on my shoulder. He's not letting you know. He's showing it through action. And that's what I like the most from him, man. I'm really excited for Fernando Mendoza. Let me see who else we got here, man. We're going to get through a couple more of these comments, and then we're going to get rolling. Let me see before. Okay. Let me see. Shout out to CGR, member for 7 months. He says, congratulations on earning your degree, Big Mike. Hey, I appreciate it, man. It was a big work in progress, juggling family and work and, YouTube when I can. Still managed to have a 4.0 GPA. So I'm very proud of that, man. I'm very excited for this year coming up. Because we got some big things moving forward as far as education and being certified goes, man. I'm really trying to master this AI thing, man. I really want to get into the AI realm and really change the game. Kind of tie in my background with tech and mix it with sports. That's kind of where I'm trying to go with that one. Trying to intermingle the two and do something special with that, man. Let me see. Yeah, we already read that one, man. Let's see. Al saying Mendoza will have a 10-year career with the AI. Is he saying Al or AI? AI saying Mendoza will have a 10-year career with the Raiders, but no Lombardi for Vegas until 2070. What the AI sucks. Yeah, you know what? I did a simulation too, and they did say something that the Raiders weren't going to win one for quite a while, but that's just that's a simulation. They can't predict the future, but yeah, it's a little discouraging to see it for sure, man. Let me see. Sean Stott says the Raiders need leaders to take accountability on the field. I was wrong about Geno 100%. We need to change that ish ASAP. Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. AO Anthony says Dr. Big Mike can help with wasted gout. Man, let me see. Man, y'all already putting doctor in front of it, man. Hey. You might mess around and get me into a doctorate program when it's all said and done, man. Much love to y'all, man. Let me see. Who are the top wide receivers in free agency? Would you take a chance or would you draft one? I would like to draft one, to be honest with you. But I still got spot track up. Let's see wide receivers that are out there. I think the cupboard's a little bare when it comes to that. Mike Evans, 32 years old. Christian Kirk. Debo Samuel might be somebody that I might consider. Tutu Atwell, more of a special teams guy. Diami Brown for Jacksonville. Adam Thielen, a little long in the tooth. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown. Not a fan. Juwan Jennings. I like Juwan Jennings. So if I had to pick out of this list, man, Keenan Allen, Jahan Dotson. If I had to pick Zay Jones, Hunter Renfrow, John Mechie, If I had to pick out George Pickens, kind of has an attitude issue. I don't know if I'm gonna get 100% effort from him every game. I don't know. If I had to pick from this list, man, to be honest with you, Deebo Samuel will be on my list. That would be somebody I consider for sure. He'd be a true number one guy that we can get the ball to. I'd be excited for that one. Let me see. Shout out to George in the bill. He says, I'm so excited. Yeah, me too. After last night, I was very excited. We're going to get into the next segment of the show very soon, man, but we got 200 in the building. Man, make sure you guys like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. Shout out to Raider Dolph. He says, I believe ChatGPT would have done a better job at O-line coaching than Brendan Carroll. Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. Raiders need a serious media tech bump, Mike. Send your CV. Hey, yeah. I think I might, man. I think I might. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Give me about a year and a half. Give me a year and a half. Let me see. Shout out to Carol and Gino for getting us the number one pick. No doubt, man. No doubt, man. Shout out to you, bro. McLove. I can't read that, man. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to my guy, man. Let me see. We got PDL 6112. Mendoza looks great, and I think the Raiders need him too. The joker in the whole draft is the Jets have enough draft capital to pry this pick away from the Raiders. Yeah, we can always say no. That's the great part about it, right? That is the great part about it, is that we can say no. Jennings played under Kubiak. Yeah, that's a good one, right? That's a good Juwan Jennings. That'd be another something I consider, right? Especially if we bring in a guy like Kubiak. Let me see. George says 17-0. We're back at it, baby. I love it. Alpocalypse said Indiana will beat us tomorrow. Man, really don't see Raiders trading the number one after all the failures of the past. They need a true number one quarterback. Yeah, for sure, man. Right now I'm hurt. We let Jacoby go. Mendoza would have paired up good together. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that would have been a good fit. That would have been a good fit. They really shouldn't have let him go for fourth round pick. Dr. Big Mike G. Sanford, and the G stands for gynecologist. Shout out to you, man. Hey, Westwood in the building, man. No, gynecologist. Just say no. Wasn't very successful, though. Yeah, for sure, man. Do you have any word on how the interview went with Kubiak yesterday? No, I haven't heard anything further with that, but yeah, Kubiak was interviewed yesterday. I know that they're going to be interviewing quite a few guys. You know, there's reports that it's going to be 10 to 15 candidates up for this, and I'm glad that they're turning every stone in this situation. I'm excited. But I think Kubiak should be first on the list. That's my take on that one for sure. The Raiders will let Mendoza draft who he wants back as a teammate. Yeah, I mean, I would, like I said, like, I don't know if you were here on the last show where we did the mock draft, and I ended up picking Surratt, his wide receivers number one receiver in the second round. A lot of people didn't like that because, you know, they felt like we should address the trenches or other places. But man, just having that continuity, that rhythm, that trust with your number one receiver, and you can bring both of them in, I think is special. Right. And, if we're really putting an emphasis on offense, right, especially when we bring in an offensive minded coach, why wouldn't you want your rookie quarterback to be comfortable with their number one receiver they've developed with over a course of a year? Right. I think that it would be a good idea, but some people didn't believe so. I think if you can do it, that'd be great. That'd be probably the most ideal situation. Hopefully Kubiak watched that game last night. Yeah. And hopefully they job offered him, and that'll be great. So that is some of the comments. Shout out to you guys. I'm going to get into the next segment. And I want to share this with you before we go. I mean, before we get started, there's a couple of experts, right? The Todd McShays, the Bucky Brooks, the Daniel Kellys of the world, right? These are all NFL scouts that over the years have really established a name in this game, right? They show special ways of evaluating talent, and they're a lot of times they're right. They're pretty accurate. But they don't have really anything special to say about Fernando Mendoza. We're going to get into some of the things that they're going to say, and I want you to let me know what you think about it, right? So the first one I want to show you guys is Todd McShay. He says that the Raiders should take Dante Moore at number 1 overall over Fernando Mendoza. So to his defense, just to let you know, this was before what we saw last night. So, these kind of evaluations are fluid. I'll give you that. But he had something to say about Fernando Mendoza. Let's check it out. Let me pull it up right there. Let's pull it up. Did you guys hear that? Let me know if you can hear it. Yeah. Okay. So basically, Todd McShay, he thinks that Moore's physical traits, arm talent is more special than Fernando Mendoza's, right? What do you guys think about what you saw yesterday with Dante Moore, right? What do you think you see over Dante Moore over Fernando Mendoza? Do people still think, can you make a reasonable assessment, a good reason why Fernando Mendoza should be ranked below a Dante Moore, and Dante Moore being that number 1 pick in the draft instead? Let me know, man. Let me see. Shout out to Mike Rain. He says, I don't think he's ready. Yeah, I agree too. I didn't see anything that was really special, right? I didn't see anything that really was like wowing to, it wasn't special at all. I didn't see it. Moore's going back to Oregon. If he can get that extra year eligibility, if he can get another year eligibility, only a fool on the pipe. Tell like it is, bro. He says not even close. Moore needs 1 more year. Mendoza is ready now. I agree. 100% prefer Mendoza. He showed leadership and composure in the important and big moments. Yeah, absolutely, right? I agree. So that was what Todd McShay said. Todd McShay has Dante Moore rated number 1 quarterback in this class right now. There's actually shout out to NFL Draft Buzz on their website. They have Dante Moore also as the number 1 rated quarterback, with Fernando Mendoza being number 2. Right? Okay, fair enough. Whatever, right? Shout out to Raider Dolph. It took 1 day for that take to not age well, for sure, man. Let me see. So, yeah, absolutely, right? So, that was Todd McShay. McShay kind of kept it. That's kind of a mild take, right? Nothing really wowing or anything like that. But I want to show you what Daniel Kelly, another draft expert, had to say.
Fernando Mendoza, there's some real concerns that as you mentioned that I listed.
Most,
it's not that I don't like him. I just want him to.
So before we get into it, right? He was interviewing with Jason Whitlock on his show and talking about all the drafted, the draft prospects coming out in this class, right? And then the subject of Fernando Mendoza came up at this point, right? So this is going to be him talking about Fernando Mendoza. Hey, put your seatbelts on for this one. He doesn't really have much good to say about Fernando Mendoza. Let's ride it out.
Get a fair valuation so that his grade can match what he's put on tape, which will give him the best possible chance to succeed in the NFL. Worst thing that can happen, these guys get unrealistic grades. They become bust because they never could live up to hype to begin with. With Mendoza, he's a stiff rigid, kind of an awkward, systematic quarterback. Everything he does is systematic. He's a control guy. He likes to be in control of everything going on around him.
So Daniel Kelly, a NFL expert, he wrote something on X. It was like 15 reasons why you don't want to bring Fernando Mendoza in as the number one pick. And one of the things that was already proven wrong, where he was proven wrong, right, is that he's mechanical. He needs everything perfect. He's looking at number one, number two reads, and he doesn't know how to improvise. Well, I beg to differ. I saw him last night scrambling on multiple occasions, right, to where that's already debunked what he just said. To be honest with you, let's let it keep riding.
He's
man.
A guy that works from his spot where he takes a snap and shotgun. He has that clapping cadence that they all do. Caleb's have some trouble adjusting to the cadence in Chicago. So that's going to be adjustment for him. But he works out of the pocket from his spot, almost like a statue. And he has
statue, guys. He said statue. Did you see a statue last night? Let me know if you saw a statue last night. I didn't see a statue last night. I saw a guy who took his spots and took off for multiple first downs, moving that chain and really doing some special things with his feet. I don't know. Let's let it keep going.
That's the first problem. And he tries to make quick, I've looked at 14 games of Mendoza at Cal, 14 games at Indiana. He's a very limited. I really question if he can read defenses that well, because
Fernando Mendoza can't read defenses, guys. So you guys keep that in mind. The level of intelligence that this guy brings to the table, right? You've seen him speak in front of people post-game, press conferences, things like that, right? A Yale guy, a guy who got offered to go to Yale, went to Cal Berkeley, not the easiest school to get into, and transferred to Indiana, got his degree at Cal Berkeley, currently working on his master's right now, right? Do you think that he can't process defenses? I'm going to leave that question to you guys. Let's keep it rolling.
He when you watch him on film, he's either making he looks like he knows where he's going with the ball before it's even snapped. It's like he just looks right to his left and throws it, right to his right and throws it out.
That's wrong too. That's wrong too, man. What I saw against Oregon, this dude was constantly moving his head, processing. I saw him look left to right, and if it wasn't available, he would take off, or he'll go left, right, and he'll go back right and kick it down. I saw him play excellent football last night, and all those things that is being said right now, I gotta disagree, man. I didn't see what you are talking about, and I know you watched a lot of film, but I didn't see it. I didn't see it in this game. Let's let it continue.
Outside, he throws a quick little slant. He's a predetermined 1 to 2 read progression thrower. Going into a league where you have to be able to read defenses, that's a huge concern. The other concern is that he's a guy that I think the reason why he gets rid of the ball so fast is because I don't think he can realistically feel front side or backside pressure that well. He's down.
He can't feel front side or backside pressure. I saw something different. When he felt the pressure, he found a lane and took off, or he got rid of the ball in a check down. I saw that last night. Continue.
Field focus. His eyes are downfield at all times. He can't feel pressure that well. When you watched him, I mean, look what Alabama did. Now, I understand that Alabama lost that game, but the first couple plays of the game, he folded like a tent in that pocket. As soon as that pressure came at him like that, eyes went down.
So he did talk about those first 2 plays against Alabama where he got sacked twice on that opening drive in the Rose Bowl, right? Okay, right? Every quarterback, there's not an unsackable quarterback in any level of college, any level of football, right? Pros, college, high school, elementary school. You're a quarterback. You're gonna get sacked. There's no unsackable quarterback. Yeah, and we're not talking about Alabama Community College that was going after this guy in the Rose Bowl. We're talking about the University of Alabama with some pro players on that front seven. Yeah. He got sacked in the opening play, right? But He reacted to it and he adjusted. I don't know what he's talking about, man. I don't know what he's talking about.
Unfolded. There was 3 sacks in that game. There was 2 other plays where that predetermined or read or that first throw wasn't there. With 2 minutes to go in the second quarter against Alabama, he panicked and he had to run. At 8:21 mark at the third quarter against Alabama, same thing. He panicked and he ran. So I don't feel like he can feel the pressure. I don't think he can read defenses that well. And he's a guy that just seems like, and he's very an elementary route thrower.
Elementary route throw, guys. There was a couple of routes right there that he threw to where only the receiver can catch it, and they were contested, and he still threw it on a dot, on a dime. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know if we're watching the same Fernando Mendoza. I don't know what he's talking about. Let's continue.
I mean, 80 to 90%, 70% of the throws, whatever it may be, he's either throwing it he loves to work outside the numbers, and he loves to go deep with the ball. He loves to make the throws that allow him to have the most leverage on the route. Okay, so he has most control of it. And so it's a lot of quick throws to the outside, quick hitches, bubble screens, or he's going with the inside slant, or he's going deep. Of the 16 passing attempts that Mendoza had against Alabama, 11 of those passes were exactly like that. So I think that altogether, he can't feel pressure that well. I don't think he reads defenses that well.
You stop real quick, right? So, and my guy Ant in the chat, man, shout out to the chat, man. You guys are on fire right now. I love it, man. I'm going to address you guys in a little bit, but I saw one comment that my guy Ant brought up. He says he's probably watching Cal Mendoza, right? And if you're watching Cal Mendoza, that offensive line was absolutely atrocious. That was probably one of the worst O-lines in Division I, to where he was the most sacked quarterback in college at that time. So if he was panicking a little bit, he didn't have that trust from his offensive line. Now, even the best quarterbacks in this league, you can talk about Patrick Mahomes. You can talk about Joe Burrow, and we even seen it from Joe Burrow. When he doesn't have an offensive line that is protecting him properly, he doesn't look as good as he should look, right? So that's not a fair assessment for a quarterback if you have an underperforming offensive line. Let's let it continue.
And he throws an elementary route tree, and things have to be perfect for him when he gets moved off his spot. Now, if he moves himself off his spot, which is really still his spot when he rolls out to the outside because he's controlling it, but when he's forced off his spot, it's a different story. ESPN printed that he was 16.7% completion percentage through the first 5 games when he was moved, when he was throwing from the outside. And so he's a guy that everything has to be right. And when you look at these teams in the top drafting, in the top 16, a lot of these teams are some that, give it up to surrender the most sacks in the NFL. Like, let's look at the Raiders, for example. Everybody says, well, let's have them go to the Raiders. Well, that sounds, I get that. But Fernando Mendoza with the Raiders allowed the most sacks in the NFL this year, according to StatMuse, at 64 sacks.
So he wants to talk about the Raiders having, getting the quarterback sacked 64 times this season. What does the 2025 season have anything to do with Fernando Mendoza in the 2026 season moving forward? You want to talk about how many times a quarterback gets sacked in the previous season and is not going to be good for a guy like Fernando Mendoza. Do you not think that these plans that business continues moving? That's what shows how short-sighted this is, this statement, the whole statement that he's talking about, right? When you have over $100 million of cap space, you can improve your weakness, right? Any good franchise, any functioning franchise will address that first, right? On top of, not just free agency, but also through the draft. You address it through the draft. And if you also consider, we've talked about this earlier, about Brennan Carroll not necessarily being that coach, that offensive line coach that is conducive to success, to say lightly, right? When you put that all in consideration, what the hell are you talking about? Next season, it has nothing to do, and the future has nothing to do with what's already been done. So let's move on from that.
You take a guy that's stiff, rigid, systematic, doesn't like to move off his spot, and you put him behind an offensive line that surrendered the most sacks in the NFL, that's terrifying.
Shut up. Anyway, so that was Daniel Kelly talking about Fernando Mendoza and how he's, rigid, a statue, can't read a defense, can't throw a route tree, all the stuff that we saw otherwise last night, right? So what do you guys think, man? Let's talk about it. Yeah, man, shut up. For sure, man. That's fair. I see your point. I'm just saying, man, that time, things change, right? You can't just look at what happened last year and expect that to continue happening. That is not how it works, right? If we talked about what was going on with the Raiders last year, we would be talking about, at this time last year, we just brought in Pete Carroll and, how we're going to have this, that, and the third, right? Will we be expecting to be in this position, right? And that's on a negative, going on the negative side of it. But if you look at teams like the Lions, a team like the Jaguars, a team like the Panthers this year, right? Who last year, if we said, oh, the Jaguars are going to be 13-4 this year and hosting a playoff game against the Buffalo Bills today, right? They would tell you that you're smoking something, right? So, and that's because in the offseason, quite a concept. You're going to improve your team, right? With the right leadership. So that take is short-sighted, and it makes no sense for you to throw that on Fernando Mendoza based on something that happened last year, or even the Raiders at that. So let me know what you guys think, man. Let me know what you think. Let me see. He says, what about the O-line? We're going to address that in the offseason. You'd like to think that they're going to address that in the offseason. They're going to bring whether or not they do add another piece in free agency, they're definitely going to have a better offensive line coach. They might draft a guy or two in this year's coming draft, right? They're going to develop the young guys that we brought last year. We didn't see too much of Grant. We didn't see too much of Caleb Rogers, right? Which, in hindsight, I'm glad they didn't, because if we're throwing them in the fire and they weren't getting developed properly, that can mess up development. So, we'll see. It's going to be an improved situation next year. Damn, Mike, I was having a good morning until you showed that clip. Hey, I just want to let you know what people are saying, how stupid people sound sometimes, right? Bro said Floyd Mayweather couldn't take a punch because he never got hit. Bro never got hit, so he didn't have to take a punch. Crazy take from that clown. Yeah, the dude, he has a different way of looking at things, and I don't agree with what he says. I don't agree in this situation. I'm not going to insult him as a person, but I don't agree what he said at all. He definitely got the right pick for us. Doesn't mean he doesn't have flaws. Yeah, of course. He's not a perfect quarterback at all. I'm excited as heck to see him play for us. I just want to see what his flaws are so we know how to protect him. And most importantly, the thing about Fernando Mendoza is that I think he's well aware of his flaws and that he's going to work on those flaws. I have no doubt in my mind that this guy is going to be in the lab and working on his craft and sharpening his craft on an annual basis. I have no doubt about it. There's no way that you can convince me that this guy is going to be a bust at the end of the day, man. Let me see. Grant and Rogers showed promise. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. They looked a lot better, man. They looked a lot better towards the end of the season. Let me see. Carter Smith is a dog and Pat Coogan. Yeah. We'll see, man. Hopefully we can bring one of those two guys in. I really like Pat Coogan, man. Wish me luck, y'all. Shout out to Gibby52. Wish me luck, y'all. Got to have my bicep tendon reattached on Thursday. Not excited about it. Anyone else had to have that done, wondering how bad the recovery and rehabs are. Oh, man. Bicep tendon reattached. So let me guess. You got some like purple. I don't know if it's your left or right arm, but you got some purple going on the chest and all that stuff. I think that was it Cody Rhodes had the same thing where he had to get his bicep tendon reattached. He wrestled a whole match against Seth Rollins. All my wrestling fans, you guys know what I'm talking about. Hell in a Cell with a torn bicep tendon, and his whole chest was like purple. Let me know if that's going on with you, but I've never had it. Had a couple back surgeries, but other than that, man, take it easy, man. And recovery, don't push yourself. Just do what you can. That's what I would say with any injury, right? And listen to those doctors and keep positive mindset as best you can, man, because it can be discouraging to be injured, man. And I wish you the best of luck for sure, man. Let me see. We got Black Pearl Raider O-line has been bad for years. It doesn't mean it's going to always be bad. You know, that's the past, and we're talking about now, right? Wasted Talent says Jason Shitlock. Hey, whether or not you like Jason Whitlock or not, man, the dude's been talking sports for over 30 years plus. Journalist, you know, ESPN, Fox, all the, you know, and whatever he's doing now. The dude always brings in a different way to look at an opinion opposite of what the mainstream is saying, right? So that's why I do respect him. You know, all the other politics and all the other stuff, whatever, I don't really care about him, but hey, I feel you on that one though. At the end of the day. Jason Shitlock, man. Let me see. Sean Stott says every player has flaws. That's what coaching fixes. We put a team around a player's skill set. Yeah, that's why I think he'll fit in perfectly with Clint Kubiak, a guy who runs a lot of similar like West Coast like concepts that will fit in perfectly what Fernando Mendoza brings to the table. Let me see. Dan Tessier in the building says Kappa and Forsyth won't be starting. That's a major factor moving forward. Absolutely. That you got to keep that in consideration. That's why I think it's so short-sighted what he was talking about. Let me see. That was a waste of my hearing power. I apologize, man. I got more, though. I got more. Let me see. I think we throw the house at Linderbaum if he comes out and sign Smith. If not, move JPJ back to center and sign a guard like we were just talking about Teller or Vera Tucker. We were talking about him as well. Right tackle B. Smith is still a beast. Yeah, I'm good with all those guys, man. I'm definitely good with all those guys. Let me see. Shane Mosley hit the hell out of Floyd, held on for dear life, but stayed up. Hey, there you go, man. There you go. Coach JB is coming a hot take artist. You know what? That's a perfect time to bring it up. So, Coach JB, right? Coach JB is one of my favorite shows to listen to every morning. Shout out to my guy, Coach Jason Brown. If you guys haven't checked out the Coach JB show with Big Smitty in the mornings, it's a great show. It's hilarious, good information. He has good guests on there. He talks about football in a special lens that you won't get from anybody else. He has a special way of looking at the game, and I respect everything that he says as far as that goes. But he has a take on Fernando Mendoza that I gotta hear. I gotta let you guys hear. Let's check it out.
Best I've seen, JB. I'm gonna be honest. I'm like, really? So it will be a low-scoring affair, in my opinion. But when I say that, you know, crazy shit happens, and we'll have a shootout. Who knows? But I do think it's going to be a low-scoring game. In low-scoring, I mean, it could. I see a 24-20.
So he said it's going to be a low-scoring game. Indiana put 55 points, so that's already wrong on that one, right? But everybody has predictions, and it's, you know, I have a lot of wrong predictions as well. So this was recorded the day of the game before the game started. So here we go. Let's let it roll.
21 type of game. If that's low scoring, I don't know.
Yeah, that's low scoring.
Yeah.
Particularly, you got a Heisman Trophy. You got two quarterbacks that are supposed to be first-round picks. That's a low-scoring game. That's a defensive struggle. And you got to remember how many – in college football, you can still get 70, 80 snaps in easily.
90.
That's a low-scoring game.
Yeah. I got Mendoza in the Shaduki Sanders grade,
Shaduki
but yeah.
Sanders.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's not a fan of Shedeur Sanders, by the way. Just to put that out there, Coach JB does not like Shedeur Sanders. But let's let it continue.
What did you just say? You got Mendoza rated the same as Shador? Is that what you just said?
I got him I said that Shador was a 5th rounder. He went in the 5th round. I was one of the only ones that I know on record that said it.
That's true.
Prior. And
He
then,
did say that.
yeah, Mendoza's a 5th round guy.
Woo! Coach JB says that Fernando Mendoza is a 5th round guy. I don't know. Coach, I can't agree with you, man. Let's let it continue.
Why?
Yeah, not close. Huh?
Why? Now, you're not the only one saying this. I mean, Daniel Kelly's got him a 4th round guy, but what's your take? Why?
Well, what does he do? What's sustainable that he does right now at the NFL level? What's different? What does he do? There's nothing he does. He doesn't throw as good of a deep ball as Shador Sanders, by the way. So, like, everything else I like.
Shador Sanders is virtually uncoachable.
Oh, no, listen.
Can't read a defense.
Shador Sanders is horrific, okay? I watched 7 games. He's the worst I've seen. I'm just saying that Mendoza offers nothing that we're like, oh, shoot, I got to keep my 1st round pick for him. If I'm the Raiders, I'm trading the pick. I'm getting as many assets as I can. I'm trading Max Crosby.
Coach, he said if he's the Raiders, he's trading back that number 1 pick, trading Max Crosby and getting everything that you need. I disagree, man. I disagree. Let me know what you guys think, man. Should we trade Max Crosby too? Trade the number 1 pick, clean house? Because we just don't have absolutely nobody. We got a bunch of UFL players on the Las Vegas Raiders. Let me know.
Cleaning house. I'm not waiting on Mendoza as many people think they're doing. Mendoza 1st pick? If they do that, I need to stop watching football because my eyes don't work apparently anymore. The Mendoza guy is not special at all. He's in a clean system that runs and operates a clean system on time and is a great college football player. We've seen 1,000 great college football quarterbacks that don't equate to the NFL.
It's true.
Like, come on. This is the same thing. I don't see a 1st round guy. I don't see any of these guys. Moore is the most talented.
Dante Moore is the most talented. Now, what you saw last night is Dante Moore more talented than our guy, Fernando Mendoza. Let me know.
And he could be a Malik Willis type. Bounce around, get in a game, show how talented he is.
Not even close to Malik Willis. Not even close. Not even close.
Ball out, get a contract extension for a new team. He could do that. He's not the guy. There's none of these guys are going to go in and change an NFL franchise. And remember, guys that draft first are bad teams, right? That's why they draft first. Mendoza's going to go in and carry this team.
We don't need Mendoza to carry the team. We just need him to develop as a quarterback and, be a guy like like a Jared Goff. We don't need him carrying the team. Now, if you had to ask me, Jared Goff is an excellent quarterback as far as, staying clean, throwing it to multiple receivers and not necessarily carrying it. But if he has to drive you down the field and get you a field goal to win the game, I trust Fernando Mendoza can do that down the line. Let's let it continue.
Raiders, that roster, we're just setting these guys up for failure. This guy needs to go be a backup, learn the game, understand his role, and be a 10-year backup.
So a 10-year backup. He said Fernando Mendoza needs to be a 10-year backup. Now, I will say this, right? I'm not a fan of starting quarterbacks their rookie year right off the jump. I would like for a quarterback to have somebody that will kind of give him a little cushion to where he can learn the playbook, process what's going on in the field, process what's going on speed-wise, and kind of watch from the sideline for 1 year, right? I think that Fernando Mendoza, and to be honest with you, I don't think the Raiders we don't have that luxury to do so, right? Unless you start Aiden O'Connell off the jump, right? Next year. But I think if we did have to start a quarterback, I think that Fernando Mendoza is that quarterback where he can process a playbook very quickly. He's very smart, right? I think he'll learn it very quickly. The speed of the game, he will have to get used to that, right? It'll take some time for that, right? But with a clean pocket, with an offensive line who is adequate, with coaching that is adequate, I think that he'll be just fine. I think out of all the quarterbacks, I think he's the most pro-ready quarterback to come in day one and be a starter out of all of them.
Nothing wrong with that, but he's not a guy. He's the other guy.
Mendoza is a 10-year backup, and it's not. I can't say that I strongly disagree with you. Here's what I do think you're undervaluing, and I've said it to others.
And shout out to Jason Whitlock. He brings a good point, right? And this is one thing that we really got to emphasize as far as Fernando Mendoza, right? Just the coachability part. Let's let him explain.
As well, it's just like,
I think they're all under backups. But go ahead.
I got it, but he is coachable, and that is a rare ability.
He said this.
Yeah, so that is what Coach JB had to say. Jason Whitlock brought up a good point about him being coachable and being a guy who is willing to learn, right? I think that that's one thing that really got Fernando Mendoza in the situation he is, being a number 1 overall pick, Heisman winner, and things like that. Just the ability to process and having the humility to be like, I need to be coached. I need to know what's going on, and having the brain power to process all of it. I think that Fernando Mendoza has the perfect recipe to be an excellent. I mean, let's put it on a grander scheme of things, right? Look at the University of Indiana, that program under Kurt Cignetti, right? That coach with the right coaching has a bunch of guys who are probably 2- and 3-star guys. And you know how I feel about 3-star guys. I think the 3-star guys have enough talent to do great things, but also know that there's limitations, and then they have to be receptive to coaching. That's why you see a lot of 3-star athletes end up reaching levels of greatness, and that's why you have a lot of guys who are considered 3 stars coming out of high school end up making the NFL because they're coachable guys, right? And I think because of that is the reason why you see the University of Indiana having the success that they're having, right? A bunch of guys who are willing to be coached and buying into a program and selling out on the field when it's time to sell out, right? I think that Fernando Mendoza is that type of player, and whoever the coach is when he does come to the Raiders, because he will be a Raider, he will bring that sort of humility to the table. But let me know what you think, man. Let me know what you think. Let's hear what you guys have to say. Just Mendoza, baby, can stomach Whitlock, though. Only if though, he always exposes the psyops. Yeah. He has a different way of thinking for sure, man. Whether you agree with his politics and whatever, all the other things that he talks about or not, Jason Whitlock is he's an expert when it comes to the sports realm for sure. Big Mike, let's stop listening to these guys with single-digit IQs. Their dumbass takes are not even rooted in reality. Let's just enjoy the process, man. Hey, shout out to you. I love Coach JB, man. I think he's brilliant, man. But he's wrong about this take. He's definitely wrong about this take. I think Whitlock maybe had these clowns on to expose him. Nah, I think he has Jason Brown on quite a bit. He only had Daniel Kelly on once, but he's a big fan of Coach JB, and so am I too, man, to be honest with you. But I don't agree with JB on this one. Let me see. Raider fans, don't get your emotions in the way. Yeah, JB may sound a little crazy, but he's not far off. It's not a quarterback heavy draft class, and quarterbacks are a hot commodity. Mendoza needs to be developed. And if that is the case, Fernando Mendoza is the guy that will be open to development and be opening to coaching and be opening to improvement, right? And I think that because he brings that to the table with a lot of ability that people are really sleeping on, hopefully nobody's sleeping anymore after last night. But when you have the ability, which is not like a Joe Burrow or a young Joe Burrow coming out or a young CJ Stroud coming out, but a guy who's good enough, right? Probably a B a level guy as far as ability goes, but when it comes to the intangibles, it's A plus, right? And when you bring that to the table, you can develop a B guy to a guy that can be a B plus A guy, right? And I think Fernando Mendoza brings that type of attitude, brings that type of ability to the table, the brain power, the wherewithal. I think that he can be developed to that guy. And you know what? Coach JB most of the time is right about quarterbacks. This dude was a former quarterback himself, former coach himself. So, you know, you got to kind of have to value a little bit of it. But I don't agree with that one. Let me see. He's an expert in the fast food drive-thrus too. Talk about Whitlock. Yeah. He lost a lot of weight though. I'll give him that. I'll give him that. But yeah, I hear you. J Raider 007. He says these guys are putting wrong assumptions out in the air. I'm just glad Mendoza is calm, cool, and collected, like he said, man. Hey, yeah, for sure, man. And the great thing about Mendoza, he's not listening to any of this. He's not listening to any of what's going on here, man. So that's another luxury that you get from Mendoza. He's not all in social media and all things like that. Let me see. If we sit Mendoza for a year, he could definitely benefit from it. Yeah, that is a luxury. But I don't think that we're going to have that luxury. He's going to be playing right away. My gut feeling says so. A lot of people are salty and mad as F because they really know we are about to draft a real good one. That's why we're pumping a bunch of what the F bullshit propaganda. It won't work. We up. Yeah, I feel that too. Because there's a lot of negative things people are saying about Fernando Mendoza, and I just don't understand it. And it's like I'm thinking to myself, you know, putting my conspiracy hat on. I'm like, is it because the Raiders have the number one pick? Like, you got to ask yourself that, right? And the Raiders are the worst coaching situation for a coach to go to. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think that goes to Arizona, right? I think that goes to those types of teams. I don't think that the Raiders are a bad place to go, having the number one pick with $100 million of cap space, with the best tight end in the league, a young running back. When if protected right, he could be something special. I don't see that being a bad situation. But hey, what do I know, man? What do I know? What do I know? Let me see. Just Mendoza baby said that's true for all number ones. They need to be developed. The game doesn't really slow down even for them until year 2 or 3. Yeah, absolutely, man. Even the best of them need to, develop. It's not a finished product. You're not getting a finished product with any guys you draft. I'm not going to say what I think about Whitlock as a brother, but respect your platform. It's Mendoza all the way. Shout out to the Cali Enigma, man. Hey, yeah, I respect a guy like Whitlock, who's been doing the sports stuff for over 30 years. I respect that. Now all the stuff outside of that, well, is what it is at that point. So shout out to Cali Enigma. Let me see. Hopefully Tom Brady can mentor Fernando Mendoza. Yeah, who better? And who better, to be honest with you? I mean, I can't think of anybody better to do so. I watched the game and was sold last night. Draft him, but nothing is certain in the NFL. Yeah, no doubt. We need to build the team and build a coaching staff that can develop them. I agree 100%, man. We got Sean Stotts with a hot take. He says all college players have to develop going into the league. Yep. Some take less work, some take more. Remember what experts said about Max Crosby. I mean, when you're, undersized, coming from the MAC conference, you didn't see competition, 4th round pick. Hey, look where we're at now. So yeah, absolutely, man. Let me see. J Raider 007. It's not hard to believe they're doing it on purpose. Defense had us in games. Doza can put points up like the other quarterback across the field and have us ahead in games. Yeah, I mean, who's to say that he can't, right? He doesn't have to right now with the team he has, but who's to say that he can't? I'm going to say it reminds me of Tom Brady. Me too. Leadership-wise, and, I think he reminds me a lot of Tom Brady. He does. Dangerfield, he says they actually made mention of him being off social media all season to focus on his game. Yeah, that's what you like to see. That's what you like to see from Mendoza. That's what you like to see from any of your guys. Doubtful spy Brady will be able to bring any quarterback in who will beat out Mendoza. He likely starts. Exactly. Unless you throw out AOC as like almost like a sacrificial lamb type of deal. If you feel like Mendoza needs a little bit more development, I can see that. He doesn't have elite ability, but neither does Burrow, Brady, Breeze. Doesn't mean you can't become an elite NFL quarterback. I mean, Brady was a 6th-round pick, 199th overall, man. So eventually, yeah, you can be. Mendoza's all RPO doesn't work in the NFL. Whoo! Shout out to the Hoff 305. He says he'll need to be coached up, but he's smart and coachable, right? And if that's the case, like you said, you're absolutely right. Smart and coachable goes a long way, for sure, man. Raider D87, you don't draft a number 1 pick and sit him for a year. That is true, right? From a front office perspective, it's almost a pressure to kind of start him. From a fan perspective, you kind of have to start him right away, right? But the way I see the game and the way I see how underdeveloped these quarterbacks are, we don't protect the quarterbacks that are coming out anymore, right? We're expecting plug and play and ready to go right now, but they're not developed in such a manner to where it's conducive to them to be coming out and plug and play, right? That's how I would handle it. Find somebody that can be in front of him so he can learn for a little bit for 1 year, maybe even, I wouldn't say 2, but maybe for a season. But in this day and age, it's not possible, right? It's not. The fan base is going to want the guy to be seen. Front office, money's involved, and things like that. So yeah, you're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. We're definitely going to sabotage us getting him. Hey, dude, I hope that's not the case, man. We have the number 1 pick. I don't see why we would go elsewhere after what I saw last night, man. Let me see. Said the same shit about Genty mofos love to hate on the Raider. Yeah. Not generational, this and that. And people were loving the fact that he was struggling, right? But you can't go anywhere without an offensive line, right? I mean, that's the one thing that people don't like to talk about. You go as far as your offensive line takes you, right? And if you don't have an O-line or you don't have a coached offensive line, then your running backs are going to struggle, your quarterbacks are going to struggle, the whole team is going to struggle in turn because of that. So, but of course, they don't want to talk about that part. Nobody's hating that we have the number 1 pick. We were dog shit last year, and we've been dog shit for decades. No, I think that there's a lot of negative pub coming towards the Raiders because they have the number 1 pick. I don't think they're hating because we have it. It's the Raiders have the number 1 pick. They have so many holes that they need to fill that they shouldn't draft anybody number 1 overall. They should trade back and get 15 players because they have so many holes and one player is not going to make the difference. And they're in a shitty situation, really not painting the proper picture. That's what I'm hearing from the media in general, right? Oh, trade Max Crosby. You need more help, this and that, right? When it's not even that bad of a situation. It's not a great situation, but it's not a situation if you let the mainstream media talk about it. They would say that we're an expansion team that needs, so many players in order for us to just be semi-functional, right? And I'm just saying that we're not as bad as what they're saying that we are. That's kind of what I'm talking about, man. Let me see. Shout out to Giovanni B 2255 with a $10 haymaker. He says people truly don't understand quarterbacking. Elite ball placement and commanded offense team are traits. Exactly. He has them all. He doesn't run a 4.4 and doesn't have an Elway arm. So what? He makes throws. Brady didn't have an Elway arm. He also didn't run a 4.4, but what he did have was command of the offense and the team, right? And that led to him have 7 championships. I don't know. I think that's something that it kind of matters. So Hey, I agree with you. Shout out to Giovanni B with the $10 haymaker. Let me see. Remember, Genty went 28 yards short of 1,000 yards with the worst O-line in football, plus 1,300 plus all-purpose yards. Hey, I didn't forget, man. Change the O-line around and give us a competent O-line coach. He easily runs for 1,000, no doubt. No doubt, man. Let me see. And if he wants out, Spy better get that haul. Hey, yeah, true. Shout out to Justin Brown 7091. He says, shit, hey, mofos know the Raiders on the rise. That's why they hate. I really feel like, yeah, if we get it right this offseason, you see a much improved team for sure, man. Let me see. Carson Palmer sat out the whole year, one after being picked at number 1. Vic, Eli Manning, and Goff all had to wait 9 or more games. Yeah. And let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. He was not a number 1 pick, but he sat for a couple of years, right? And it worked out for him in his development. So I don't see why you can't. Patrick Mahomes sat a year. You saw where that led to. He came out in 2018 on fire. That 2017 season, he sat behind Alex Smith and didn't play to that final game of the season. When he came out that second year, he came out like gangbusters. So, it's I think it pays to sit down for a little bit. Let me see. Nobody's hating on the Raiders. You guys are funny. We have the number 1 pick, and you guys act like we just won the Super Bowl and we're being hated on. You can be hated on for different reasons. I think they're hating on. Nobody's saying that we're being hated on because we have the number 1 pick. They're making it seem like we have a completely horrible situation and that one guy isn't going to fix the thing, right? One guy can change the quarterback situation and the what's the word? The culture of the locker room, right? That can change at least offensively, right? And then free agency, money changes the offensive line, a complete draft can change other things as well. Who's to say that one season you can go from 3 wins to, at least 8, right? There's no saying that we can just be in a shitty situation. That's my problem that I have with the mainstream media, is that they're making it seem like we're like in a situation we just have completely nothing over here, when that's not the case. That's all I'm saying. I think that's what people are upset about from the mainstream media. I don't think maybe hating is not the correct word. Is kind of overstating how bad we are when that's not necessarily the case. Maybe that's the better word for it. And I can't speak for everybody else, but that's how I see it. Right. The Jets are on the clock, and we have the league, and we in the league knows who we're getting. Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Raiders Squid, man. Good to see you on here, man. Let me see. And we got 259 in the building. You guys already know what to do. Like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. Hit that thumbs up. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. And if you're over on X watching it, man, go ahead to YouTube and hit that thumbs up. Share with your folks. And, hey, become a subscriber, man. Also, if you want to become a member of the Big Mike Raider fleet, hit that link at the top. Hey, it's the best way to support what we got going on over here, man. Let me see. Raider Biggs, Raider Biggs 1862. Mendoza is elite in his own way, and he's an elite processor. That's a superpower, just like arm strength or mobility. 100%. So, guys, I got one more for you. One more. Shout out to Bucky Brooks, another expert. Let's hear what he has to say.
Me, because he won a Heisman Trophy. He's going to be the quarterback that led Indiana out of obscurity to potentially the national title. But we just had on a guy, Daniel Kelly, used to work with the Jets as a scout. That's like, man, I've done the homework. I've watched all the games. He's a 4th-round quarterback. That's how he has Mendoza rated. But any of those guys, I'd probably start with Mendoza. Let's start with Mendoza. How overvalued is he? Because it doesn't sound like you don't think he's top of the draft guy. maybe not even a first round guy. Is
Um,
Mendoza overrated?
I would say this. I would say that normally, like if you're staying true to what the number one overall pick is supposed to be, the number overall pick should be special in terms of he should have elite characteristics.
So Bucky Brooks is talking about the number one pick has to have elite characteristics, right? Well, coming out, a guy like Jared Goff didn't have elite characteristics at the quarterback position. I would say Baker Mayfield didn't necessarily have those elite characteristics as well. But, I can't argue and say that Fernando Mendoza has a specific elite characteristic, the ability to process, the ability to command, his leadership. I think that goes a long way, right? But the ability is good enough. But when you have those elite traits at the other positions, I think that's justifiable, right? And hey, say what you want for what I saw last night. It looked pretty damn good to me. I think it's worthy of a number one pick. But shout out to S. Dot, man. Cameron Ball, I'm keeping that in mind. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to look him up in a second, man. Let's let this one ride, though.
In multiple areas that validates why he's the number one overall pick, whether that's arm talent, athleticism, clutch playmaking ability, whatever those things
all
are,
three
he
of
should
those.
have those tools. When I look at Fernando Mendoza, Mendoza is a really good college player. I watched him at Cal. Look, he set Aaron Rodgers' record in terms of number of passing games he's had with over 250 yards. He's accurate. He's decisive. He does a really good job running the offense in Indiana. Now, but remember, and I know people look at Indiana and they see the logo and they don't think that they're very good. They're playing with a bunch of B's and C talents, but this is a really good football team. And he's never had to put Indiana on his back in terms of carrying the entire team. He has moments where he flashes and make plays or whatever, but in terms of putting the team on his back, he's never done it. So when I look at him, I make the comparison where he falls somewhere in between Jared Goff and Daniel Jones. And whatever you think of those guys, that should be your expectation for Mendoza. Now, Jared Goff is a 4-time Pro Bowler, but it takes building a super team around him to be able to get him to play at his best. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to understand it. But when you take someone number one overall, man, you typically don't take a game manager number one overall. And so when people are overhyping Fernando Mendoza, I think they're making the expectations of what he's going to do unrealistic for who he is and the talent that he brings to the table.
Mendoza is
All right, so there you go. Heard what Bucky Brooks had to say. Didn't say too many things that I can hate, to be honest with you, right? One thing that we do need to do if we're gonna get a guy like Fernando Mendoza is if you're going to bring in a guy like Fernando Mendoza, you got to have the situation around him perfect. But that's any quarterback, right? It's going to help with his development. So if it behooves the Raiders to address the offensive line, it behooves them to bring in I would say bring in an additional wide receiver. Bring in a guy we just talked about, bringing in Jawan Jennings or a guy like Deebo Samuel. Bring in somebody that he can rely on at the receiver position, right? Because well, we have some solid receivers. We have some young ones, but they're also unproven, and it remains to be seen. Maybe we need to do some evaluation and see what we do have in Jack Besh and Dante Thornton. Maybe we do have the guys in the building, but we don't know, right? But I think maybe bringing in a veteran wide receiver to kind of add to that would be excellent, right? Offensive line, you got to address the offensive line. Better coaching, right? That'll help as well. So that will help a guy like Fernando Mendoza and his development and his confidence. Yeah, I do agree with that. Now, as far as him being a game manager, there's a lot of quarterbacks in this league that are game managers that we consider top 10 quarterbacks in this league, right? First one that comes into mind is Brock Purdy, right? Brock Purdy isn't a guy that you necessarily think that he's going to be a game changer and is going to be doing clutch throws and things like that down the line. But at the same time, he's a winner. And he's a guy that you would really argue and say the guy is a top 10 quarterback in this league, right? Jalen Hurts, right? Not the best quarterback in the world, right? And he has the running ability and things like that. He brings leadership to the table, and you would consider that he's a top 10 quarterback in this league. So there's a lot of quarterbacks in this league that are game managers that are successful and that you would consider to be a top 10 quarterback in this league. So, you know, that whole game manager thing, they make it seem like it's such a horrible thing. I think that if it leads to the playoffs, it leads to wins. Hey, sometimes it leads to Super Bowls. You know, we've seen that from time to time. Jimmy Garoppolo, he took the 49ers not too long ago to a Super Bowl, one throw away from winning the thing, right? Brock Purdy took the 49ers to a Super Bowl, right? Trent Dilfer took the Ravens to a Super Bowl. Now it was elite defense, right? But you got guys like Brad Johnson and with the Bucks. You got a guy like you can name a lot of guys who were like game managers. Jared Goff, right? A lot of guys that were game managers, quote unquote, that took teams to the playoffs, right? But you need a solid nucleus around them. You need complementary ball. You need a solid defense. You need things like that. That will help. And so that goes back to what I was saying, and Bucky Brooks was saying as well. If you're going to bring a guy in like this, you got to surround him with the right pieces. Let me know what you guys think about that one, though, man. Let me see. The problem is the Raiders never draft to elite teams around quarterbacks like Mendoza. That's why everyone like Chambliss, he can help the O-line, allowing things to open up, plus a leg threat. I like Trinidad Chambliss, but I think he's going to come back next year. And I think that he could be a round one pick with another year. But I think if he was to come out this year, I think he'd be a third round pick. Let me see. Shout out to Lecky in the building, my guy tuning in late. Sup, Oos? What's going on, man? Fernando Mania. That's what we're talking about, man. We've been talking about Fernando all show long, man. Let me see. Yep, we got Lecky in the building, y'all. Let me see who else we got. Let me see. Let me scroll back just a little bit to see what else everybody's talking about. Did Mendoza have an elite arm around him at Cal? Go look at his highlights at Cal. Hey, and look, to be honest with you, man, he went toe to toe with Caleb Williams when they faced each other when he was at Cal. So, hey, I don't know, man. Maybe Fernando Mendoza does have that, and he doesn't have to show it. He doesn't have to with this Indiana team. And this is a system under Kirk Citnetti that runs the ball more than they throw the ball. I don't know if you guys noticed, they had a dual threat. They got two monsters at running back over there, Indiana and Hemby and Black. They have good running backs over there. So that also helps the quarterback too, having a solid run game. It all starts in the O-line. You build from the inside out. Yeah, for sure, man. 1,000%. Has to have the right head coach and staff. Yeah, we gotta get that right too. Shout out to you, Bob. We definitely got to get that right too. Fam Security says, Negrera helped Messi's success buying refs. You talking that soccer stuff, man. I don't know, man. Let me see. Did Mendoza have an elite team around him at Cal? Go look at his highlights. Yeah, we talked about that. He may be a deer in the headlights owner, but he should be able to develop Mendoza. Yeah, I think so. You're talking about, your favorite guy, Tom Brady. Let me see. Let me scroll back just a little bit. Let me see. Cam Newton got everyone saying game manager, game changer is crazy. Yeah, I know. Even I said it, to be honest with you. Yeah, Cam Newton, man, he's definitely got a hold on that one for sure, man. But I agree with him to an extent, right? There's not too many guys that you could say game changers, but there's a lot of game managers in the NFL right now. I'll say that. I agree with him. I agree. Let me see. Oh, Alex talking about that soccer stuff, man. Let me see. Want to go back to what he was saying. My guy Mendoza, just Mendoza, baby. He says gonna pitch in for Mike to get a 10, I would say a 1080 camera or better. Shoot, send it. Send it. You know what? I do need to upgrade the camera right now. I'm definitely rolling. Not at actually. This is the ability to record at 1080p. You got to pay a little extra for 1080p on what is it on StreamYard. So shit, if you got support, man, Hey, I dropped a little extra cash to get that 1080p capability. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, man. But yo, Big Mike, all that little wait a second. Oh man, hey man. Hey, that's between you and CGR, bro. Hey, that's between you and CGR, man. Hey, just keep it respectful here, man. Hey, we keep it respectful with everybody, man. Hey, shout out to you for popping in though. Either way, let me see. PayPal income. Come on, man. Don't do that, man. I appreciate it. It's better now, 1080. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think I have my camera has the ability to record to shoot at 1080p. But I think you got to pay a little extra for that. But man, it's all good, bro. Either way, man. I appreciate you, bro. I haven't heard anyone say they're not a believer. Yeah, I don't see why you would. I don't see why you would, man. Let me see. Money Chuck, he says Mendoza has superior football IQ, ball placement, and intelligence. Manning, Brady, Montana had these traits. Mendoza is the real deal. Man, no doubt, man. No doubt. So let's talk about one more thing. I told you I was going to do a deep dive. We talked ad nauseum about Fernando Mendoza, but I'm going to leave you guys with this one. Shout out to NFLDraftBuzz.com with their player profile on Fernando Mendoza. I want to talk about it, right? They have Fernando Mendoza ranked number 2, the number 2 quarterback prospect coming out this year. Fernando Mendoza was given an 89.5 grade out of 100, I guess, as far as a prospect rank. Dante Moore's first 89.6, so slight ahead. Fernando Mendoza, 6'5", 225, runs a 4.85 40, according to this right here. Defense rating, average rating of opposition defense player has faced, which is a 75%. I'm sure that will be raised a lot more after wins against Ohio State, Alabama, and Oregon. Release speed, 92%. See how the links below to view how player ranks versus other prospects. 92% as far as release speed goes, right? Short passing, 88%. Medium passing, 97%. Long passing, one of the best long passers in the game, right? 100%. Russian scramble, 82%. Not an elite trait, but according to this, in this class, he has the elite trait of the long, medium, and short passing, right? He's projected top 5 in the first round. He's going to be the number 1 pick. So some of the things that we talked about with Fernando Mendoza, he, only one FBS offer from Cal. He was going to go to an Ivy League with Yale. Ended up taking a gamble and going to Cal, being a redshirt there. Then, took off from there. ACC quarterback of the week 3 times with Cal, completing 66.4% of his passes during his Berkeley tenure while maintaining Pac-12 academic honor roll status. It's impressive, right? Then he transferred to Indiana, and now you know him as the, Heisman winner, right? And kind of his highlight game before, the playoff games was that Penn State game. Indiana went over to Penn State. Now Penn State is kind of a shell of himself this year, but this was the first time in program history for Indiana that they went to Penn State and beat Penn State. And in that game, Fernando Mendoza went 30 for 47 for 323 yards while leading a game-winning drive, and threw that spectacular pass to Cooper, where Cooper pretty much got a toe in the back of the end zone in, right? So that is some of the stuff that Fernando Mendoza. Let's talk about some of the strengths from Fernando Mendoza, what he brings to the table. Throws with surgical precision between levels, threading windows that don't exist for quarterbacks, lacking his touch and anticipation on intermediate routes. Keeps his head on a swivel when chaos erupts, maintaining downfield vision while maneuvering through traffic like a downtown cabbie at rush hour, right? I'm just reading what they have on here. Don't mind me. Built like a power forward at 6'5" with long levers that create unique passing angles and help him see over collapsing pockets. So kind of a lanky kind of guy at 6'5". He doesn't look that tall to me. 6'5", that's actually impressive. I didn't think he was that tall. Absorb relentless punishment behind Cal's turnstile protection, yet never flinched from delivering strikes. So that was at Cal. Despite him having lack of protection, he still showed gamesmanship, right? When he was at Berkeley. Manipulate safety with subtle eye movement and shoulder fakes, creating lanes that weren't there at the snap through veteran level deception. Impressive, right? Eats blitzes for breakfast, posting a 15-0 touchdown to interception ratio against 7-man pressures across 2 seasons while maintaining elite efficiency numbers. You saw the efficiency last night against Oregon. Elite efficiency, right? Displays ice water in his veins during crunch time. So that goes against him not being able to carry a team, not having that clutch gene, right? He has it right here, according to these scouts. Engineering comeback drives when seasons hang in the balance without his pulse ever spiking. You saw it against Penn State. They were getting ready to lose that game. He marched down the field and got him a game-winning touchdown. Shows enough wheels to make defenses respect his legs, using functional mobility to buy time and convert broken plays into positive gains. And we saw that against Oregon last night. So those are some of the pros that we bring from Fernando Mendoza. Let me know what you think. I did a complete breakdown of Fernando Mendoza, and hey, we talked about what some of the experts are saying, some of the weaknesses, right? And I'm bringing you some of the positives right there, right? We saw an elite game from Fernando Mendoza, and Fernando Mania is on. It starts today, or it started yesterday. We are in Fernando Mania 2.0, man. I'm excited, man. Let's read some of what you guys have to say, and then we're going to get up out of here, man. We got 244 in the building. Make sure you like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. Mendoza Mania going to run wild in Vegas. Oh, yeah. I'm excited, man. Mendoza Mania, man. I'm calling Fernando Mania 2.0, but yeah, we can do that too. He can run too. I don't know why people saying he can't. I don't know why he can't. I don't know why they're saying that either. Man. Mendoza has more touchdowns and incompletions in this college football run with the dog shit roster. We at least a bunch of guys that are 3-star guys, right? I wouldn't know about dog shit, but definitely not 5-star guys on that roster. Like Fernando Mendoza said, a bunch of misfits. They got a bunch of misfits, right? But they all believe in one thing, and that's to buy in and sell out, man. And that's why they're 15-0 right now. Let me see. Great show, Mike. Way to expose the media. I do my best, man. I do my best. I will always do that. You can count on me for that. Let me see. Raider Dangerfield, good conversation, no doubt, bro. Shout out to my guy, CGR, man. My guy. Let me see. I can't watch the fact that Mendoza did outrun smoked high draft pick defensive tackles Amari Washington of Oregon Ducks. Wow. Yeah. Impressive, man. I'm telling you. People were sleeping. People been sleeping, man. Let me see. His ability to roll out and buy time was on display yesterday. Also, his mobility got a couple first down and keeps drives alive. Yeah, man. Yeah. It was good to see, man. It was absolutely good to see. Let me see. What are we gonna do about weapons for him to throw to an offensive line? Hey, we're gonna address the O-line. We got Brock Bowers. We got Michael Mayer 1-2 combination at tight end was pretty solid. With the right protection, with the right system, those two can be a problem in the league, right? We've been saying that for a long time, but we got to see it, right? We already see, we saw it individually with Michael Mayer when he was the number one option. He looked great. We saw it. You already know what we bring with Brock Bowers. We just need the coaching to kind of put it together and really showcase those two and really get some defenses kind of on their heels and expose that, right? Now, as far as receivers go, I believe we should bring in one additional veteran to bring in. Dante Thornton, Jack Besh. Those are guys that I feel like need some development, and we can see what we got with them. Trey Tucker, career year this year, right? He had a solid year. We see what we got with him. I think we have a lot more weapons than what people think. And then we got to address the offensive line. The offensive line is going to need some help, but that starts with coaching too. So And we got some young guys that we can develop properly this year as well. So, and we got the draft to hit as well. So we'll see. Free agency too. Maybe you bring in a guy, a top guard out of from free agency too will help. Excellent synopsis, bro. People who don't like the Raiders will hate, man. Hey, I appreciate the support, man. I do, man. But you're absolutely right. Dual threat quarterback is what we need. Chambliss. Raiders will never have elite IQ. I think whoever we get, you're not gonna like. You're not gonna like anybody we get. If you that's just historically what's gonna happen, and it's okay. Chambliss isn't coming out probably this year, likely, right? And if he does come out this year, he's going to be a third-round pick. He's going to gun for that that extra year eligibility, and he probably will get granted it. And then next year, we'll see, right? But Chambliss isn't coming out. He's not going to be a Raider. But I do like Chambliss. I do agree with you on that one. Let me see. So he'll be perfect for the Raiders. Misfits, absolutely, right? Absolutely. I hope this time, shout out to Lecky, he says, hope this time we get a young-minded coach who's going to be here long-term. Harbaugh coming here is giving Pete Carroll two. Yeah, no, please don't bring in Harbaugh for sure. Let me see. Shout out to my guy, Manny. He says, Big Mike, do you think wide receiver needs to be addressed in the draft or free agency? I would like to bring in a veteran. We talked about Jawan Jennings. We talked about Debo Samuel. Those are two guys that I would like to bring in for this team at wide receiver. I know that Mike Evans is a free agent. He's a little long in the tooth for me to bring in, and I'm sure he'll go to an immediate contender to try to get himself a ring. At least he should. He deserves it. But those are the two that I'm kind of eyeing free agency wise. Let me see. Brady and Spytek just need to hire the right coach for Mendoza. Absolutely. That definitely needs to happen. That's priority one, to be honest with you. Let me see. Vada 2001. Mendoza beat Ohio State, Alabama, and Oregon all in a row. All you need to know. Exactly. And that's the wild card here. Who's Brady going to be able to bring in as a head coach? That's priority one, man. That is absolutely priority one. Vera Tucker. Yeah, we talked about Vera Tucker, man. Shout out to my guy LV Maximus. He brought up Vera Tucker. You kind of concerned about some of his injury history, but he is 26 years old. I think that would be somebody that you want to at least consider, right? Definitely want to consider. John Wick. Sorry about the grammar and spelling. I'm watching your show while I'm driving. Hey, drive safely, bro. Hey, just drive safely, man. Just listen in. I appreciate your support, man. But hey, we need you to be safe, man. We definitely need you to be safe. I'm not a Raiders fan, but I'm definitely sold on Fernando Mendoza. He's NFL ready, and some of the throws he made against Oregon prove that. Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Con Landing, man. Hey, hopefully it's not your last time here in March 23rd. And that's for everybody right here, 248 people watching. We're going to be starting the 30 days, 30 prospects season 4. You guys know what I do. I talk about my 30 favorite prospects that I think would be a good fit for the Las Vegas Raiders. And we cover each prospect every day. We pick one and we do like a showcasing and a highlight of their pros and cons, and almost like a scouting report that I like to do. But we're changing the name this year. It's Big Mike's Big 30. We're going to be doing that starting March 23rd, leading up to the NFL draft. So, hey, hopefully this is your last time, and stay tuned for that one, man. Let me see. I see a lot of people upset the Raiders are getting Mendoza. Straight up hating. It's hilarious. Yeah. Absolutely, man. I'm going to read a couple more comments, and I'm going to get up out of here, man. Let me see. There's no more doubt from experts after last game. Yeah, I think that's pretty much done right there when it comes to that. Let me see. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Shout out to everybody that popped in, man. 247 watching. I appreciate you guys. Much love to you, man. Let me see. Rather have Gruden than Harbaugh, as Mendoza would be monster in Gruden's RPO system. Well, I mean, Gruden runs more of a West Coast offense, and I think, to be honest with you, that would be an excellent system for Fernando Mendoza. Problem is, Gruden wants too much power, right? and now he's in a fight with the NFL too. So I don't think the NFL is going to allow that to happen. But if John Gruden wanted to just be an OC and just kind of just focusing on the offense, I'm all for it. But you know, John Gruden's going to want some power. He's going to want some power, man. Let me see. What's your take on George Pickens? Would you pursue him off this offseason? No. George Pickens, he's the type of guy that would be a malcontent when it's all said and done here. We've had enough malcontents here with the Raiders, the Randy Mosses, the Antonio Browns, the Devontae Adams. George Pickens, I'll pass on that one. I'll pass on that. I think a lot of people will agree with me on that one. I'm cool with George Pickens. Correct, Big Mike. Perhaps Gruden was humbled and willing to work under spot. Hey, I would hope so, man. If he was down for the cause, man, that would be excellent. I would bring in Gruden to be an OC for sure. Absolutely. Let me see. Should have PayPal and Orbit. Mike, congrats again on the degree and keep the content rolling, man. Hey, Just Mendoza. Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna check that out after the show. I'm gonna hit you up personally, man, with a message on there, man. I appreciate you, man. Hey, much love to you, bro. Much love. Let me see. I also like Pons in round 2 as well, Surratt, or the other Indiana wide receiver in round 3. Yeah, you're talking about Cooper. I can't think of his first name, but yeah, Cooper's nice too. Let me see. Thanks for your take, man. Hey, I got you, bro. Let me see. Time to look forward and not back. Shout out to my guy, Martin. He says, by the way, thanks for reading my comments and aloha and blessings from Hawaii. Hey, much love to you. I appreciate your support. I appreciate everybody here listening in with me and talking ball with me. It's much love, man. You guys can be doing anything else, and you guys are here chilling with me and talking ball. So I appreciate it, man. Brandon Ayuk, yeah, maybe I'll take a look at Ayuk too. Injuries kind of scared me a little bit with that, but I like Ayuk too. Hiring Gruden is like taking steps backwards. I wouldn't want him as head coach. Now I said if he's an OC, now we're talking. I like him in his offense, and I think that Fernando Mendoza can process what John Gruden's doing, because once we had Derek Carr understanding what John Gruden wants to do offensively, we saw the best of DC. And I think that Fernando Mendoza would benefit from an offense that John Gruden brings to the table, right? I think that it would be pretty fun to watch. Let me see. Brandon, the drama queen like AB. Yeah, and that's the reason why I don't want him, man. Place to be Saturday wildcard AM. Hey, there you go, man. There you go. Yeah, there's some games on today coming up soon for sure. Enjoy them playoff games. Thanks, Big Mike. Make sure you hit all the like button. If you haven't already, then hit that subscribe button. You heard my guy, Eric Smith. Make sure you guys like the thumb. Hit the sub and share with your folks if you haven't already, man. Much love to you, man. Appreciate you. Let me see. A couple more and we out of here, man. Would you take a flyer on Drew Allar? If so, late draft pick or UDFA? Drew Allar is going to probably be in the 4th round. I like Drew Allar, right? I would double up on quarterback if it's past the 4th round. If we see Drew Allar in the 4th round, 5th round, 6th round, I would absolutely take Drew Allar in those rounds. He's a big prototype quarterback. Kind of reminds me of Ben Roethlisberger. I think it would be nice to take a flyer on him for sure, man. But guys, that is the show. One more. I'm curious what we do with Max in the offseason. If we trade him, we could go all in on O-line and use extra picks on loan and still first and a wide receiver 1. If you believe in the fact that Max Crosby's always last couple seasons been dealing with injuries, if you believe that we've seen the best for Max Crosby, maybe you do consider trading him. But I want to keep Max Crosby a Raider for life, sentimental-wise. I believe that Max Crosby deserves to see success here in Vegas, because I believe that that's going to happen if he sticks around, man. But that is the show. Somebody disagrees with the Gruden thing. Gruden is an excellent offensive mind. I don't care what anybody says. And Gruden as an OC would be excellent. I don't care what anybody says. But, guys, that is the show, man. We talked about Fernando Mendoza ad nauseum. But hopefully you got your good Fernando fix here, man. And there's going to be plenty more where that came from from now all the way up to the draft. But once again, it's your boy, Big Mike Raider. Hey, and we'll see you on the next one, man. You guys have a great weekend. Peace.
Your light illuminates their imperfections, hence their attempts to dull your shine. Light 'em up.
My name and flowers grew right out the brown soil. My vision's clear as glass, the robe is purple satin plus the crown's royal. Allow me to give you a demonstration. Holding your breath waiting for me to fail only brings hyperventilation. See, I'm a soldier that's ready for any situation. So me and life double dated my trials and tribulations. Won't be remembered for not speaking out. I Google map my whole approach, so I chose not to take the peaceful route. I promise I can't make this shit up. I shed a tear then used the mic stand to hold my chin up. They plot and strategize on different ways to make me give up. That's easier said than done, like a woman that's 9 months pregnant doing sit-ups. Yeah, I read the book of life, defeat was never in my story. Just brutal fights on the battlefield is bloody and gory. Showing off is a fool's idea of glory. Call me foolish, then in the clutch I make them drop like I was Robert Ory. See, in this world you gotta sink or swim. Boy, I'm a legend, when I die my presence never will be felt again. This greatness rare, but see I kept it in. Isolation in the demons, guardian angels been my only friend. I've been at war with myself in silence. Had a mental malfunction, forced to go into hiding. For
I hope
powerless
you
like
watch it right now, because then you're going to understand whoever get in my way, I'm a dog walk their ass.